But the reality is nobody's got a single cloud strategy because they keep some on premises or they have as a service capability. And when you realize that, there is no such thing as a single vendor cloud strategy. Welcome everyone to another episode of Cloud Chat with Stefan and Matt. I am one of your hosts, Stefan Stelter.
And my name is Matt Brown, speaking to you, I was going to say live from Insight 2023.
We're being recorded live. I mean, we're alive if we're being recorded. And we're between, a fern is between us.
Yeah,
instead of being between two ferns. It's fascinating. We are at Insight 2023, as Matt mentioned. This is the technical conference where we invite customers and partners to learn more about NetApp technologies. We generally make some major announcements, and we've done exactly that this year. So it's been fun, and I'm trying to think of which topic to start discussing with my dear friend Matt.
There are literally so many topics, and it's been great to see so many customers. Everybody's excited to be here. But I think the biggest topic, categorically, is automation. Everybody wants to automate.
Yes.
Everybody wants to automate everything.
Well, I think one of the interesting things about automation in the context of some of the announcements we made, we've got an all-flash SAN array product, the ASA, and that product family expanded this week with some capacity flash drives, some QLC drives. And what's interesting about this for me, the conversation that I have with partners and with customers is really understanding the customer and understanding what they need. NetApp invented unified storage.
Yep.
We created this concept that unified storage was important. So for a lot of partners and some customers, there's some confusion. Why would you stray from multi-protocol greatness? I love the approach to unified, the way that we're thinking about our customer needs. And the customer who wants an all-flash SAN array is really looking for a dedicated system that runs only SAN workloads. It's not that we're trying to build something that's creating a new market. We're addressing a customer need where they want separation.
Right.
Have you heard any feedback or thoughts on how we might use ASA internally at NetApp?
Well, we use the larger, more enterprise grade hardware.
Yeah.
So we try to keep that standardized to our global footprint. So at this point in time, we don't have a plan, but those always change.
Yes. And what's interesting is I think customers who have adopted a unified strategy, I make this analogy all the time where you've got people inside of an organization who like peanut butter.
Yes.
They're the NAS people. They're okay with clients accessing their hardware. And then you've got people who like chocolate, and they are the SAN people. And they really are strict about what workloads run on their SAN environment. Some people like a chocolate cup. They like a peanut butter cup, and they like two great tastes that taste great together. And NetApp internally is
NetApp
great
IT is more like Baskin Robbins. We serve everybody.
Yes. So it's interesting. Some organizations have an allergy to peanuts, and that's the kind of organization that needs an all-flash SAN array. So it's interesting to see. But the unified piece, pulling it together to the automation
certainly.
This idea that we can automate regardless if you have NetApp technology for NAS, NetApp technology for SAN, being able to automate with the same framework has become a tremendous value for customers who have peanut butter and chocolate in two different domains inside of the organization.
And customers, it's funny, I just sat through an Active IQ conversation. People want simple. They want automation.
Yep.
They expect it to come with the products that we're developing today. So that is awesome news that we're releasing such a fantastic product for a specific need for our customers.
Yes. Well, Active IQ is such a tremendous capability that we have where our systems phone home. So there's a feature called auto support that's built into the box, and it feeds data about, not data that's user information, but data about how a system is performing.
Right.
What kind of behaviors it's observing. Those things are fed into our data lake, effectively, where we're able to process and help customers make better decisions.
And we're looking to add artificial intelligence to that, to really take more proactive measures to avoid issues from ever occurring at the speed of a machine thinking.
Yes.
So very, very powerful stuff. Yeah. Automation is a huge topic. Artificial intelligence is a huge topic. But there are many intersections with both of the technologies come in, and everybody wants to know this. And obviously around that is all the security stuff, of course. What else about automation are you hearing from the customers?
So what I find fascinating, I'm a Mythbusters nerd, and if you know the show, Adam Savage is one of the characters on the show. He's not a character, I guess he plays himself. But so Adam Savage has a show called Tested that he's done on YouTube afterward. And if you're familiar with Boston Dynamics, trying to intersect a couple of things together, Boston Dynamics is well known for their their abilities to deliver robotic platforms that are tremendous. And one of the platforms that's available to the public today is Spot. So they have a dog, four-legged,
Oh, wow.
a quadrupedal robot. And at any rate, Adam gets this robot, and he decides to build a rickshaw that his robot dog is going to tow him behind. Long way to say, automation is an interesting thing. Are we automating the right things? We're taking tremendous technology for automation, and we're dragging behind it this ancient mode of transportation.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's in my head,
I love
I
I love that
technical
picture. I want to get
fascinating.
like a little logo of that, because that's
So-
an awesome conversation to have.
When you think, are we automating the right things?
Right.
So I think customers are going through that. If AI can help me write an automation script instantly, is it still the right thing to do?
Is it the right thing?
Are we automating technical debt? These are questions that you just, they may or may not get answered.
That make you go,
Things that definitely make you go. Yeah, are you hearing anything from the automation side?
You know what's been a popular element in the automation topic is configuration drift.
Yes.
I think we talked about that earlier.
I think we touched on it.
Configuration drift is a big concern because it ties directly to security. You usually end up having a security problem because the as-built did not remain as-built, and all of a sudden a new threat was introduced because you thought you built a wall and the wall now doesn't exist.
Yes.
And we're getting a lot of customers asking about not only day zero install, but quickly following up with how do I keep as-built, and then what is that best practice around that?
Yes.
So again, automation is probably one of the hottest topics out there. NetApp does a lot of great things in many different areas to facilitate the automation's journey. And we have many partners that we work with, like Ansible, that comes with a lot of built-in playbooks to be able for customers to succeed.
Yes. When I think about as-built and I think about configuration drift, some of the things that pop into my head are, well, isn't there a config drift that's on purpose, right? And I suppose with this planned upgrade, you want to upgrade the code, and then it's a known thing. That's not a drift anymore from a config perspective.
No, that's config evolution, which is
Okay.
config. That's intentional versus the unintentional drift.
Yes,
exactly. So, Stefan, I have another conversation for you. So I went to a lot to customers who believe that they should only have one vendor for their hyperscaler solution. And I think it's coming across sometimes as an edict for IT organizations. When the cold hard fact is you go to the cloud to get the ability to leverage all kinds of new technologies. And being stuck with any one provider won't necessarily give you the very need and exposure to the technologies that can help businesses grow. Do you see that in your conversation?
There is a ton of tension in this space. When you talk about a single vendor strategy, it's historically been such a bad idea for IT. We put all of our eggs in one basket and things are problematic. You're usually doing it because of some trade-off in the hardware stack where if I do a single throat to choke, or you're trying to figure out, am I doing smart things by having best of breed? In the cloud conversation, there seems to be a human factor that rolls into this, where do we have the people who understand more than one cloud? Can we afford people who understand more than one cloud? And that becomes, for the customers I talk to, a reason why they're thinking about a single cloud strategy. But the reality is nobody's got a single cloud strategy because they keep some on premises or they have as a service capability. And when you realize that, there is no such thing as a single vendor cloud strategy, because I guarantee your ERP isn't being provided in a SaaS way from the same cloud provider that's providing your infrastructure that you're providing in the cloud or running in the cloud.
Exactly.
Are you seeing something similar?
It's interesting because it's inevitable. Especially with large companies. Well, we're an AWS shop, and you're okay. And they're 10 minutes into it, and we're doing stuff that you find out they're doing workloads in Google. 10 minutes later, if I'm doing Azure, and you're like, that should be part of your strategy because you're using them all for very specific needs because the technology is actually helping you solve a problem, a technology that may be deficit in other hyperscalers. Because at the end of the day, Google Cloud, Azure, AWS are also competitors.
Yes.
So they're going to come up with systems of differentiation, unique capabilities. And a lot of it, I think, is also driven by cost. I think people believe if you go into one place, I can get a lot of costs.
Right.
But then I'm going to argue, then you're kind of back into the single data center concept, and you're creating your own restrictions when what we're trying to do is unlock the ability to innovate.
Yes. And stitching onto the human element here, there's that fear that we won't be able to afford talent in multiple clouds. But there's also this reality that as we hire, attracting talent, you don't want to dictate what cloud that talent uses.
No.
If they're great developers and they're skilled in Google Cloud, why would you force them to use a tool that's going to make them non-productive?
Yes, or
18
less
months
innovative
or something, right? Yes.
Well, and
So-
the whole goal. I mean, you should evolve your talent and evolve your technologies as the world around you grows and the needs change. So those technologies are transitionary, right? It's an
Yes.
evolutionary conversation. So again, to me, I hear a lot of the conversations, and initially you feel like you're being put into a box, and then again you talk, and the needs, the wants, and actually the use cases are all there. Where I have yet to meet any customer that is only using one cloud.
Yes. Now, it depends on who you talk to in the organization. You might talk to IT and they say our strategy is AWS,
Right.
we're only using AWS.
But their
or
marketing's
our
doing
strategy-
something different. Their
Correct.
engineering something
Correct.
different.
That's exactly what we see.
Well, the
There's-
other thing,
the
so
developers are doing something.
So it's interesting though, and this is where I find I get the eyes opening wide. So you talk to them and talk to them about the challenges, and for some reason, everybody sees their data centers as like the hub, and the spokes are the hyperscalers. I was having a conversation with a customer the other day, and they were talking about, oh yeah, we're only using AWS, but we're starting to use Azure, and we're really interested in data protection. And I go, have you ever thought about maybe snapping between clouds? I go, you're on CVO, right?
Yeah.
And the person's eyes got this big, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Can I do this?" I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, and I can copy that. I can snap mirror, and I'm like, yes,
Yes.
you can. He goes, well, I have a development teams that follow a sun model. I go, can I snap mirror and follow the sun and use the data set? And I'm like, you can. And the person was just looking at me going, oh, like the mind just got
Yes.
blown.
Yes.
And we're the only company that can do that.
Absolutely.
NetApp is the only company
Yes.
that can not only snap from your data centers or move data from one cloud, from your private cloud to a public cloud, but between your public clouds. And if you are a global company, think about the opportunities that presents for
Oh,
DR,
absolutely.
for continuous operations, for enabling workloads in multiple marketing areas. It's just a very powerful tool.
Yes, the capabilities there, when you think about the follow the sun coverage model, the caching element, SnapMirror being the underlying engine, but
Yep.
FlexCache as a means to keep
Yep.
that data, warm it, doing some automation and pulling these things together to automate the way that data gets warmed in specific places at the specific times as you're following the sun.
It gets exciting.
Oh, it gets super, super
It's
exciting.
really exciting.
And that's that, when we talk about unified today, we have, again, NetApp known for multi-protocol capabilities, unified storage, but the new unified is really unified cloud, where the data is on premises, in the cloud, the same API frameworks work.
Yep,
My automation is consistent across. This full unification is a big deal. It's not about protocols, it's about APIs, automation, data.
Completely. That's the modern approach to IT.
Anywhere. Yeah, you gotta do it.
So if you have not heard about NetApp's cloud products, especially CVO or any of our ONTAP cloud offerings, highly suggest you take a peek at them.
Yes.
We're big users of them. We're proving there's lots of value to be had, and it really changes the way you think about the hyperscalers and the multi-hyperscalers in a really very robust architecture.
So very true. Reach out to your NetApp partner, of course.
Yes,
They're
of
happy
course.
to help
Our
put that
partners-
together for you.
Partners and our service providers all definitely are capable of delivering those great capabilities.
Yeah, so we have this infrastructure modernization work that we do at NetApp. We also have this operational piece that we're doing for optimizing operational work. And that's fun for me to think about as well in this context. As soon as NetApp on NetApp has just been such a tremendous resource for our partners and for our customers to see how you can leverage all of NetApp technologies to make things better from an infrastructure perspective, from that unified data any place.
Again,
And
that
also from this-
practitioner's view.
Yes, and then also optimizing, the
Yep.
optimization piece. And you've got a team presenting here and talking about some of the work that we're doing with Spot internally.
Spot, ONTAP for data protection, several different sessions. We have so many, I can't even remember them. In fact, there's one of our subject matter experts right there. But anyway, it's been great. I think, again, continue to be an evolutionary conversation.
Yeah.
You know, the whole goal of cloud is to unlock the power of innovation, and NetApp is really there to help enable that through our data capabilities. So,
Wonderful.
great topic.
Oh,
We
super
could
fun.
probably do a day topic on this.
I think we could. I think one of the great things about Insight is that it generates these kinds of thought-provoking conversations with partners of NetApp, with other customers, fellow customers, and with the NetApp account teams that are present. So it's been a great event. I've really enjoyed it.
Highly enjoyed
I'm thrilled
it.
to see you in person again.
Same here.
We get to do that.
Yes, yeah,
the
you're
physical contact,
human.
it's a real thing. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll catch you on the next Cloud Chat.
Don't
with
forget to
Stefan and
like us, subscribe. Please comment.
Matt. Yes, please do.
See you in the next
we love your
episode.
feedback. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.